It's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. Welcome back, welcome back. Is it Monday already? Boy, that weekend flies by when you're having fun. Hope you guys had a great summertime weekend. Lots of exciting stuff here today in the markets. We have a jam-packed nightly newsletter in store for you. I don't think I could fit any more useful trading information into the shortest amount of time possible here tonight for you guys and gals. I got a doozy for you. Do they still call them doozies these days? I think they do. We got a doozy coming your way here tonight. Once again, my name is Joseph James, and this is your nightly newsletter for Monday, July 28th, 2014. Boy, the markets, well, they were pretty easy today, weren't they? Everything was pretty much down. Very, very easy session for us here in our trade room. We nailed the direction. Only thing that was difficult for us today was staying patient and waiting for those three keys to success, right? Trend, setup, entry pattern. It was, relatively speaking, a very easy Monday morning. Now, we have, like I said, a very exciting newsletter in store for us tonight. 3 jobs here today. First, we'll talk about what happened in the markets today. Second, we'll grab a look at the charts for tomorrow. We'll give you strategies for up, down, and sideways. And the third thing we'll do is we'll take a look at the calendar for tomorrow. We'll think about the news that we have tomorrow, how it's going to affect all of us. And, of course, we'll plan for the day of the week of the month, and the month of the year. By the end of tonight's newsletter, you are going to be an expert, locked and loaded, and ready to capitalize on whatever this world throws at us tomorrow morning in our live trade room. Alrighty? Before we jump into it here for our newsletter here for a Monday night, the 28th of July, I want to remind you guys here, if you're not watching this video right now on our blog at Sideways Markets, make sure you follow the link below the video. If you're watching us on our YouTube page, or if you're watching this video on some other website somewhere out there in the interwebs, I would encourage you to get over here to sidewaysmarkets.com, because on our blog, there are 3 important things I need your help with. First of all, below the video, you've got the opportunity here to download all the charts here today. Very, very important. I'm not just going to give these to you in video format. You can actually download all of the charts I'm using here today. Second thing, upper left-hand corner, I've got a free pass for you to come out and join us in our live trade room. Take me up on that offer, guys. You're going to learn more with me in an hour and a half in my live trade room as a guest than you will in any paid website out there. I can pretty much guarantee that. Lower left-hand corner, third thing, right above my ugly mug, I need your name and your email address so I can send you a copy of this newsletter every evening around 8 p.m. Eastern Time when it's hot off the presses. That's right. No more waiting for the post to be uploaded on the blog, no more checking back on the YouTube, right? You guys now, once that's done, I'll put it in your email box and you can kick back and relax and wait for that to come out to your email box. So 3 things over here at Sideways Markets. Pause the video for me, download the charts for today. Very, very easy to do. Bring those with you tomorrow morning in my live trade room at 8 a.m. Second thing, free pass up here in the upper left-hand corner. Check it out. I get a free pass for you guys to join our live trade room, even without being a member. And the third thing is, that's right, you can join our nightly newsletter mailing list. All I need you to do is give me your name and your email address, and then check your email. I'm going to send you a verification to make sure you're not using me some invalid email address. All right, so check your email to verify you got it. And we are off to the races. Make sure you stretch. Make sure you're hydrated. Maybe some organic raw coconut water, if you will, whatever your fancy might be. Some green tea with some chia seeds. We'll see what goes. Let's get started. What happened today? Well, boy, I'm going to go over this a little bit later on in the newsletter tonight, but we began a week. Boy, this is a week that, I don't know how to describe it, but we don't see this week very often. We have the last bit of July, the 1st of August. We've got non-farm payrolls on Friday. We've got FOMC on Wednesday, GDP on Wednesday. And just to spice it up a little bit, we got gold rolling over on the 31st. I'm exhausted just talking about all that. A lot of stuff coming out this week, starting here with geopolitical, right? We've known about the violence in the Middle East, Gaza, Israel, Ukraine, Russia. Shall I go on? Yeah. Unless you've lived under a rock, you haven't heard anything about this. But besides some great baseball on television over the weekend, it was a relatively lackluster news weekend, wasn't it? Not a lot coming out. We saw some great news out of Asia, some rockets to the moon in the Asian equity markets, but European markets and U.S. markets, for the most part, were flat or down going into today's session. So definitely not really feeling those geopolitical jitters that we felt last week. It's almost like I said last Thursday, it feels like we've moved on, and for good reason. We got the FOMC coming out on Wednesday. We got non-farm payrolls on Friday, right? Excited about that. So we got a lot of news coming out here. Starting here with the gold. Remember, we got the rollover on the 31st. That'll be what? Count the I, dot the T. That'll be on Thursday, right? First of the month is going to be on Friday, August 1st. So look out for gold rollover. That will be to the 1014 contract. I got a link right below the video if you want to learn more about how to trade rollover on gold. Check it out. It's right below the video. Or you can, of course, simply shoot me an email, jj@schooloftrade.com. Be happy to send you that link as well. As you can see here, not a lot has changed on the gold market over the past few days. We are seeing those lower lows, lower highs, but well, I'll tell you, the personality right now on this daily chart does not look very enticing. We got the big round number of $1,300 an ounce. We got the BMT, $1,300 an ounce. We are, well, yeah, we got a real range-bound scenario right now, but look what you're seeing here, though. We have that downward sloping movement right now, which again, I don't know what this tells us here right now, but if we think of gold as being that thermometer you stick in the mouth of the population of the trading participants, clearly they're not worried about the violence in Iraq, in Middle East. Clearly they're not worried about this right now, right? Think about it that way. If the world was worried about this Middle Eastern crisis spinning out of control, don't you think gold would be a little bit higher than it is right now? Yeah, just a little bit higher. So this can be your finger on the pulse, the thermometer in the mouth, whatever the heck you want to use as an analogy for this. But you can see here, though, right now, slightly bearish and going into non-farm payrolls and FOMC, surprising. It is a little bit surprising to see that happening. Usually it's the opposite as we go into a week that is so important as you're seeing this week ahead of us. Moving forward here from the daily chart, we start to get some really bearish clues. And you're going to see me below this video, I've written down looking to sell short because as you can see right now, you can see we got our lower lows in price, right? Lower lows in price, lower highs in price, getting a little bit narrower here as you can see, right? We got a bit of a descending triangle or pennant, if you will, but that's fine. We know we got a downtrend. We're just about below all the key moving averages. We've run right into some significant sell zones here overhead. It's very difficult for me right now to say bullish, I'll tell you that much right now. So it looks like, though, we have the market going lower, retraced back up into a great trigger zone setup, if you're a member of mine, right? Member of my trade room, we talk about find the trend. What's my trend? Down. Where's my setup? Trigger zone. Channel. No, maybe not channel yet. Trend line, right? We've got, of course, our trigger lines here, all of our key moving averages. We look great here for a short. You can tell, though, all that gold needs is a little bit of a and nudge, right, and the way down. I hope, and again, this is a big hope, I hope that we're not going to be disrupted by geopolitical, or I really hope that this potential short right now isn't fizzled out by the analysis paralysis ahead of Wednesday's FOMC. Like I said earlier, when we have a week with non-farms and FOMC in the same week and rollover, are you crazy? This should be, usually we don't see gold naturally react going lower, right? It's kind of like crude. When somebody whispers crude oil, we go, oh, buy, right? I'm scared, buy. Usually when somebody whispers anything about gold, usually buying gold, right? So very interesting here right now. Very interesting. And I talk about this quite often, and I've been doing this almost 15 years now. When things don't quite make sense, that's usually when something is hidden around the corner, and usually that's a very profitable opportunity coming down the pipeline, right? I'll say I didn't warn you here. Leading into this major news, though, later on this week, it will be interesting to see here how gold reacts, though. As you can see, though, we are just about to tumble here on gold right now. I got targets below me here, 1285, 1280, 71, 62, dare I say 1240, all the way down where we came from here, early part of the spring. As we go higher here, I've got sell zones above. I've got 3 areas here on gold I want to look short. Now, you might be wondering, what do we have to do to get this price to go lower here? Well, I'm glad you asked. Take a look here at the faster anchor chart. You can see this is what happened today, right? Of course, last week we had this big sell-off, right? Thursday, Friday last week. Easy money selling short on this stuff last week. Now we come in here, profit taking at those lows into a bit of a consolidation. Looks to me like a bear, you got it, right? Like a possible bear flag, right? Possibly, though, it could turn bullish, right? So we know this could go either way here. I'm looking at the long-term downtrend right now, so I'm not even looking at being a buyer right now. All I need to do is get below this 1301.1, and then remember, what's the rule here for those wedge breakouts? Now, I know, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the way that I always do it is that I'll find those swings, and that's what I need to get away, that's what I need to get through. So, for example, there's my wedge, right? Well, let's go in and let's mark up that low right here, all right? And let's make sure that we get below that low and then use that low for the entry, right? So that's the strategy I'm going to be using as this thing tumbles. Now, don't get me wrong, you could do it a little bit more aggressively too, right? So you could go like this, and then, of course, use that as well, right? But, of course, the problem with that now is that you've got to deal with things like this getting in your way, right? So just be aware, trying to get below that low here. If you're an aggressive trader short, you can do it a little bit earlier. I'm going to be watching here for price to get below, right? And then I'm off to the races here to the downside. Because you know what's going to happen. If this thing gets back inside of it, it'll use it as support and it will go back up, right? That's a great way to fade the breakout, right? So as this price goes lower, I'll wait for price to make the lower low. I'm looking for the short right around here, right? So that's where I'm looking for that short. If I don't get it, though, if it gets right above, whoops-a-daisy, we can fade that breakout. This is just a day in the life of being a student at School of Trade. We'll teach you guys all this stuff in real time in my trade room tomorrow morning. As you can see, though, right now, I got a job to do here, get below that 1301, and then we got targets here waiting for us to the downside, 98.5, 95.9, 92.3, and then all the way down to that 87.5. All right, so you got your strategy here for the gold, looking bearish here. But again, just be careful on gold this week. Again, if you're wondering why things are a little bit sloppy on gold this week, you know why, right? Non-farm payroll Friday, this Friday, and we got FOMC on Wednesday. Oof, boy, get the kids out of the room for this one. This one looks ugly. We got the Russell, as you can see here today. I've got us right in the middle of this range. You can see here, this Rusty dipped its toe in the water down here, right? It definitely dipped its toe in the water, that 29.4 area, the BMT. It tried, right, but couldn't quite get those sellers to hold on tight. It definitely, just like gold, we got lower lows, we got lower highs. I can't say this is looking bullish right now, but as you can see, though, we're right in the middle of this range here on the Russell. I've been saying this for a long time now. Boy, it feels like it's been a few months on the Rusty, but ultimately this personality's been a little bit sloppy on the Russell lately. One of the only E-minis that are having a difficult time getting out of its own way right now. Russell, being the only one. You've got the NASDAQ, right, the Dow, you've got the S&P E-mini. Those are all, of course, having no problem pushing all-time highs, right, blindly pushing all-time highs still. So we have the Russell kind of stuck in the mud right now. My favorite E-mini, though, by a long shot, is this mini Russell. Why is it my favorite? Why is the Russell my favorite E-mini? Well, there's actually 3 specific reasons why the Russell's my favorite E-mini. One would be its personality. Now, I know. Right now, if you remember with me right now, you probably say, yeah, personality of a crack addict, right? It does have its moments, right? Like all of us do. Crude's the same way. But it has personality where it really moves. When it moves, right? It's kind of like the best of natural gas, right? You know, if natty gas moved every day, you know, that's the biggest problem with natural gas, you know, things of that nature. It's really illiquid. It doesn't move every day. Well, the Russell moves every day and it has a great personality. The next thing is I like it because it has a $10 per tick. I'm really not a big fan of the $5 per tick markets because you still have to spend $5 roughly in commission to get into the trade. It's not an efficient business model. And the third thing is, right, are those ranges. And that has to do with its liquidity, right? Or should I say its illiquidity, right? That's pretty much what it is. Okay, a good way to describe it would be the S&P, right, has 10 times as much volume as the Rusty, as we call him, right, or her, I guess. Could be a gal as well, right? But we call the Russell, right? It's a great personality market. It's $10 per tick, which is kind of in between, right? You got the S&P at $12.50 per tick. You get the Dow at $5 per tick. The NASDAQ at $5 per tick. You know, $12.50 can be expensive for some folks. Right? I just personally don't like waiting all day long for the S&P to move. You know, I go to sleep on it. And I really don't like trading those $5 per tick markets. And then it's got some great ranges and some great liquidity or illiquidity, which gives it that personality. So those are really the reasons why I really enjoy trading that Russell. And, you know, speaking of that Russell, I'm not sure if you were watching last night's newsletter. That was last Thursday, but we nailed that huge drop on the Rusty. Now, do not take my word for it, guys. You should not believe anything anybody says on these darn YouTube videos these days, right? Go back, watch my newsletter, and my exact words last Thursday evening was, I'm looking to sell short here in this downward trend. I even went as far as to give you profit targets for it too. That's right, right? Tell that crazy guy on CNBC who's yelling and screaming all the time, all he gives you is direction. Yeah, right. Call Bloomberg and say, hey, Bloomberg, would you mind giving me entry and exit? And they would, of course, laugh at you and then try to sell you some random product in a Bloomberg terminal. But here at School of Trade's newsletter, as you can see, we don't just provide you with direction, right? I'm not just telling you I'm long or I'm short. What a joke, right? Right? Pops and drops, long and short. How about you give me entry and exit? Now we're talking. Entry here short, again, 60.1, literally to the tick. Last Thursday's newsletter, right? This, of course, will be Friday and into Monday here. So into Thursday, Friday, target number 1, target number 2, and here we go now. We're ready to go again here. Strap me in. Let's keep going. So we know we made a killing on that short from last week's newsletter. And again, don't take my word for it here, kiddos. Make sure you go back and watch last night's newsletter. All right, let's take a look here. 32 anchor. I've still got that same channel on here. Now, if you download all the charts, right, if you go to the blog right now, and if you download all the charts here, I'm going to give you a lot more charts today than you're going to see in this video, all right? I'm going to give you all of them here with the big channel, give you all the targets here, all right? So I'm not going to show you all the stuff here right now. You'll have to go in and download, all right, for some bonus charts here tonight on the newsletter. But as you can see, though, and if you're a member of mine right now, this is a broken record. We've been talking about this all day long, right? Bearish trend, we nailed the short earlier on. Lower low, here you go. We're right back at it again. I got sell zones here. I got 4 areas here to be selling short on the Russell. How about targets? Targets below me, I'm glad you asked. 22.6, 13.8. 1100, big round number, all the way down. I've also got 1083.8 down there. Again, if you want to get all these targets in one easy to digest chart, go grab the download and you'll see I put a big chart together there for you with all the levels for you. Download those charts for tonight. All right, so right now we got green light here right now. I put it in my chat room here for School of Trade members. So don't miss this short selling opportunity here on the Russell. Moving forward here, one step further, this looks a lot like gold, right? Just needs a little bit of a okay, let's go, right? A little bit of a nudge on the way down. It is a summertime Monday. We know that traders are probably jumping on one foot trying to get the salt water out of their ear, but we know that this volume will pick up here overnight. 7 p.m. Eastern time is the Asian market open, unofficial Asian market open, and of course 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, the London open. So we are looking good here, up towards those highs, into our sell zones. Again, I got 2 zones here to sell. If this doesn't collapse here, if we go higher, I'll just do it there again, right? So it doesn't matter to me, but I'm not looking to buy right now. We're below the key moving averages, almost below all the key moving averages. We're below the long-term moving average. And again, all we need is that, right, that little push, and we should be able to get this thing to drop here. What's my trend, members? If you're a member of mine, School of Trade, what's my trend? Bearish, baby. What's my setup? Channel setup, trigger zone setup, symmetry setup, right? Lots of setups here that are telling us what's the third step. Find the entry pattern. Find the entry pattern. Where's my targets? Targets are easy. Swing low, low of that channel, which is not really low of the channel, it's an extension. Then, of course, we got the 17.3, right? So 3 different targets on the way down. All right, so stop counting all the money you made off last week's call on the Rusty and watch out for the chance here to get to selling short here on the mighty mini Russell. Now, speaking of mighty, boy, this 102 big round number here on the old crude, right? The black gold, the Texas T. Yeah, one of my favorite markets of trade here. Today, crude was a little bit slow at the beginning, but boy, did it give you some great opportunities here. I was posting them on StockTwits this morning, all over our Twitter feed this morning. I'll tell you right now, if you want to follow us, Twitter, StockTwits, Facebook, we update these things throughout the day today, and there were very, very easy setups on crude going short. Looking at this chart, though, my daily chart, you can see here, zoom on in, you can see we got a big old wick and a small body, right? Big wick, small. Wait, that was my nickname in grade school. What? I'm kidding with you. We'll keep this PG here. Maybe PG-13. How about that? Or NC-17. They still have NC-17? I was like 13 years old the last time I saw someone say NC-17. Anyways, let's keep going. 102, right? $1.02 per barrel, red, big red flag here, right? Big round number. As I'm recording this, we're at 101.55, so just below that big round number, and you can see here, overhead resistance, support below. We definitely can see we have a long-term uptrend, right, ever since the beginning of the year here, but at the same time, though, short-term, though, take a look. It's looking pretty bearish here in the short term right now. 32 anchor, if you remember, this last few weeks here have been dominated by geopolitical, right, the fear-mongering. Then you got a nice little head and shoulders, and then we start taking off the downside. What I see right now is, what's my trend? First question, what's my trend? Trend is bearish. How do I know? Red cloud, structure is down, lower lows, lower highs. That's my trend. Now that I know my trend, what's my setup? Channel setup, trigger zone setup, right? Now, the one thing I have concerned right now is this 192, this line in the sand here, right? It kissed it here this morning, right? Just barely tested that low, right? That was also a supply zone, I think on a, was it a 30-minute or a 5-minute? I can't recall what it was this morning. But there was some support there. But again, little lower low there, though. Lower highs, so we get all the rules lining up. We're below the key moving averages. We're off below that channel high. We are looking good here to go short. I got targets at 174, 100.1, 100 big round number. Good to see you again, old friend. I look forward to hanging out with you later on this week. And then we got, of course, 99.19, 98.65, and dare I say, $98 a barrel all the way down? We shall see. We shall see. I'll tell you right now, though, this is screaming at us, return back to where we left off, right? The bookmark was left at 98. Right? All of a sudden, these morons shot a passenger airplane out of the sky, killing hundreds of innocent people. I shouldn't even call them morons. They don't even deserve to be mentioned in this newsletter. That's what resulted in this price going higher. Right? You got Israel defending themselves in Gaza. Right? You've got these pathetic excuses, right, of a human being shooting down passenger airliners, causing price to go higher. Yeah, I'll tell you how I really feel. And then, of course, we got the head and shoulders, right? As disappointing as it was last week, we saw it coming. We felt this turn. We felt the fact the markets had gotten past it. And now, of course, leading into Friday's non-farm payrolls and, of course, Wednesday's FOMC report, we are green light here right now to be selling short here on the crude. Last but not least here, on the crude, you can see ready to go. I just gave all of our students the heads up in the trade room here this evening, in the chat room, I should say. I've got us, where are we going here? Yep, lower low, lower high. What's my trend? Down. What's my structure? Down. Where's my setup? Setup is easy. Trigger zone, symmetry, channel, trend line, easy setups here. I have a green light here now to be selling short on crude. I get targets at 101.15, 190, 119. And again, you stay thirsty, my friends. $100 a barrel, and then you got 99.56. Guys, don't say I didn't warn you. This is way too close to $100 a barrel. If we don't get some more fear mongering, if there's no further crisis that hits the newspapers here, we are most likely going to be at $100 a barrel at the earliest tomorrow night when I see you again, at the latest Wednesday morning ahead of FOMC. It would be just too convenient for us to be hanging around $100 a barrel right when they hit the bonkers button for the FOMC announcement at 2 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesday afternoon. All righty? Don't say I didn't warn you. Now you know the plan. Is it me, or does everything look bearish here? Gold is the one market that I'm concerned about right now, and for good reason. It's got a lot of anticipation coming this week. We got the rollover on Thursday, which means on Wednesday, it'll be sharing volume between the 8 and the 10-14. We got FOMC on Wednesday, non-farm on Friday. Boy, I'll tell you, gold has the potential here, right, to go on a pretty nasty little, sideways kind of analysis paralysis / acid trip here this week before it finally figures out where it wants to go with all that stuff going on. But we're bearish on gold all the same. Bearish on crude and bearish on the rusty. Now, don't forget, if you want real-time updates for all this information, you got to come out and join me tomorrow morning in my live trade room. The first thing we'll do tomorrow morning is we'll analyze the news and get ready to trade around the news tomorrow, and then we'll take a look at what day of the week of the month, and month of the year. Speaking of which, we'll wrap up here tonight with the news for tomorrow, July 29th. Again, July 31st is the scheduled rollover for gold, but that could be as early as Wednesday here today. So be aware of that for all you gold traders out there. It'll be from the 8:14 to the 10:14. Then, looking at news here, we got news coming out of Japan. Real minor news tonight out of Japan. We'll then skip down. You'll notice tomorrow the FOMC meeting begins. 8 times a year, the Federal Open Market Committee will meet. It's a 2-day meeting, right, with the climax, if you will. That's way too close to a bad image there. But the climax here, of course, being 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, or should I say 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, excuse me. I keep forgetting tomorrow's only Tuesday. Wishful thinking. We got FOMC begins tomorrow. We have no real major news coming out of Europe, right? A relatively quiet session in the European session. So, again, keep an eye out for those geopolitical news. Keep an eye out for any of the major political speakers sticking their foot in their mouths. And that's what they do the best. Of course, we got 9 o'clock, Red Star, or 9 o'clock. We got some minor news tomorrow. Red Star, won't be until Wednesday, right? So Wednesday we have Red Star News. So tomorrow, the biggest news we get here is going to be the 9 o'clock Case-Shiller Home Price Index. Boy, we saw a pathetic pending home sales index today. Boy, what a drag on that housing market. That housing market can't quite seem to get a neutral, right? Watching these news reports in the housing market is almost like watching a 14-year-old learn to drive a stick. Right, an old Honda Civic hatchback with a stick, right? You know what I'm talking about. And so we got 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We got Case-Shiller Home Price Index. Consumer confidence at 10 o'clock. We'll be trading around those, waiting for reaction to it. And then tomorrow night we get 750 from industrial production of Japan. The big thing tomorrow morning, though, is that without any major news in Europe, that'll be dominated by whatever's in the headlines, right? Whatever geopolitical news we hear tomorrow morning or tonight, right? So be ready to sell short tomorrow morning, and then look out for those news at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We have no Red Star news until Wednesday, and that's what's going to happen, because what we're going to do is let's think about this for a second here. Tomorrow, what will happen is late in the morning, people will start to get their eyes peeled here ahead of that FOMC meeting. So we may see things slow down late morning, tomorrow afternoon here. We'll have to wait and see what the personality looks like at that time. And, of course, I'll be watching that in real time with you guys live in our trade room tomorrow morning. All right? Speaking of the live trade room, I want to invite you guys to come out and join us here tomorrow. We got a free trial. Of our membership to School of Trade. I've also got a special free pass for you guys on your trial to attend our live trade room. You can see how we do it in real time. And of course, don't forget, while you're there at SchoolOfTrade.com, don't forget to share this information with a friend and check out our beginner, intermediate, and advanced course levels. We celebrated our 10-year anniversary here at School of Trade in 2014. We do right by our clients. We're the very best spot to learn and earn on the web, and we're the longest running trading education website on the planet. Pretty cool, huh? Don't take my word for it. Check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Join the free trial. Don't forget, share this with a friend. Be careful out there this week here. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do anything at all. Make sure you come out and see us as a member of School of Trade, and we'll get you properly trained so you know how to find the trend, find the setup, find the entry pattern, and know how to manage your risk as well as your reward. My name is Joseph James. I want to thank you so much for being here on the newsletter for tonight, the 28th of July. You guys have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in our live trade room. Be safe, be well, and learn it so you can earn it. We'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.